Welcome to the Pulsating Biology, and in today's video of Olevels Biology, we are covering the chapter Transport in Humans. When you talk about transport in humans, the first thing that should arise in your mind is the term double circulation. What is meant by double circulation? That we're going to learn in this video, but first you need to understand when you talk about double circulation, there are two things that you must keep in mind. Number one is the pump, and number two is the blood vessels. When you talk about pump, the pump in the body of a human being is the human heart. The human heart consists of four kinds of the chambers: the right chambers and the left chambers, and they're divided by a membrane that is termed as the septum. This is the membrane that divides the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. It consists of four chambers. The right side consists of the right atrium and the right ventricle, whereas left side consists of the left atrium and the left ventricle. So the chambers of heart are basically important as the double circulation is made possible by the complete division of a heart into separate right and the left sides. When you talk about the right atrium, the body consists of the deoxygenated blood. The deoxygenated blood that needs to be oxygenated. Therefore, the body sends the deoxygenated blood into the right atrium and then to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it is passed on to the lungs. There are two kinds of the circulation. When you talk about the lungs in the circulation, we say that that kind of circulation is known as the pulmonary circulation. And the one which includes the body, we say that is termed as the systemic circulation. Most of the students confuse this as systematic circulation, but it is not as the systematic, it is termed as the systemic circulation. So what happens is that whenever the blood is pumped from the right ventricle into the lungs, it gets oxygenated, and after being oxygenated, it is passed on to the left atrium, where it is passed on to the left ventricle, and then to the entire body. The left side of the heart receives the oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps into the systematic circulation, that means the body, wherever it is required, whereas the right side of the heart basically receives the deoxygenated blood from the body and then sends it to the lungs. So in short, there are two kinds of the circulation that takes place in the human heart. Number one is the pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation, the term pulmonary is basically including the lungs in itself. Whenever the term lungs is included, we say that it is a pulmonary circulation. And number two is the systemic circulation. The systemic circulation is the one which includes the body. That's why we say basically the blood passes through the human heart twice in such a manner that first the body sends the deoxygenated blood and then the lungs send the oxygenated blood again into the heart. This means that the pressure can be ensured faster delivery of material into the tissues or mammals that are being active, or any part of the body that requires that high amount of the blood. So how is this mechanism basically takes place? It takes place in such a manner that from the body the blood is transported to the heart, which is the deoxygenated blood. Then it is transported to the lung. From the lung, it is transported back to the heart and then back to the body. This is the kind of the circulation where we can divide it on the kinds of the blood that is being transferred. From the body to the heart to the lung, we have deoxygenated blood that needs to be oxygenated. That's why it is sent to the lung. And from the lung back to the body, the oxygenated blood is sent, that is transferred to all the parts of the body. That's why we say that there is two kinds of the circulation that are included: pulmonary and the systematic circulation. The pulmonary circulation is the circulation or the flow of blood to the lung, whereas systemic circulation consists of the higher pressure than the pulmonary to avoid damaging the delicate capillaries. This is the entire mechanism or the working of the human heart that you need to learn in your syllabus. When you talk about the difference between the mechanisms of working in the heart with the organisms and the other organisms and the human being, we say the major differences being a single circuit circulation and the double circuit circulation. What is primarily meant by the single circuit circulation? It means that it involves only heart. There is not involvement of any other kinds of the capillaries except for the heart capillaries. But in the double circuit circulation, we say that it is involvement of heart along with the lungs. That's why we say that the blood in the human beings or the human heart passes twice. When you talk about the single circuit circulation, let's take an example of, for example, a fish. When you talk about the fish, so the capillaries basically that are accumulated within the body of the fish is only transported within the heart and then it is transported to the body. Does not involve any kind of the lungs or the lung capillaries within itself. That's why we say there is a single circuit circulation and only the blood passes once through the heart and then it is transferred to the body. But when you talk about the double circuit circulation, it means that whenever there are presence of the four kinds of the chamber, from the right, from the body, the blood is basically transported to the right atrium, that is the upper chamber of the heart, and then it is transported to the right ventricle, and then from the right ventricle it is transferred to the lungs. From the lungs it is transferred to the left atrium and then the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it is transferred to the body. What was meant by explaining you the entire process of this is that the blood passes through the heart twice. First from the right atrium and the right ventricle, and then it passes through the lungs. Once it is transferred to the lungs, it passes through the left ventricle and the left atrium, and then it is basically passed on to the body. We say that there is involvement of the heart along with the lungs. Whenever there is involvement of the heart along with the lungs, that's why we say there is a systemic circulation and a pulmonary circulation. We say that it is the double circuit circulation. Along with that, the blood passes through the heart twice. This is the major difference between a single circuit circulation and the double circuit circulation, and the difference of heart in a human body and in the other organisms.